Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim, and our guest today is Aryeh. So Aryeh, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live, what you do for a living.
Yeah, so I'm originally from New York City. I live in Jersey. I am the founder, CEO of Aryeh Co., which is a bespoke diamond jewelry company. I started back in 2018, and I've just been building that ever since.
That's awesome. So how did you get the idea to start this company?
So I had originally gotten into the industry through a friend when I was in college. It was a family-owned business, but I was kind of trying out different jobs, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Always liked working throughout school, my whole life, really. So jewelry was just one of those things that opportunity came up, and I started working for the business. And eventually, I realized it is something I really enjoy doing. And after a couple of years, I felt like there really wasn't much growth, particularly at the company I was with. So decided to just take the risk and go out there on my own using the connections I made and any knowledge I had at that point, customer base, a personal network, and try to make something happen.
Awesome. So that's interesting because you said that you're working a full-time job and you sort of jumped in. So what made it seem like that was the right time, like 2018 was the right time to go ahead and go for it?
So what it came down to was that it was more of a personal thing where I always wanted to feel like I was continuing to grow professionally and personally as well. So it got to the point where I realized I was open to continuing to take on more responsibility, but I just didn't really see how I would move up, within the company, just because it's the industry by nature is very family oriented, family owned businesses. So there wasn't much room, and I realized that, and that's kind of where I also finally came to grips with the fact that I just didn't like really working for somebody in general, and I wanted to just do my own thing and was willing to take the risks.
So how do you compete? I mean, as you mentioned, obviously it's true, and I meet many family-owned, father, son, owned jewelry businesses. So how do you compete in a very competitive space like jewelry?
So for me, it's been built completely on my personal network. And of course, there's always things I'm learning about the quality of the manufacturing, even customer service, customer relations, things that some of these things you can only learn once you've actually faced them heads on. So my competitive edge is, I'd say, may sound cliche, but myself. There's only one me. As I continue to build the company, I understand that we're going to have more people doing more things, but it's really, I believe that I've really made it a point to focus on the customer, on personal relationships, and it's been almost all, referral based off of my personal network, and that's kind of how it's been growing. So
you mentioned that referrals has been a big part of your growth, but have you used any marketing strategies, like for example, social media or other kind of cold outreach to people that you don't know, or has it really only been through your network and word of mouth how you've grown this business?
We've definitely done social media. I was kind of running everything for a while, trying to keep up with the different algorithms and trends and hacks and all these things. So we definitely have built a social media presence, but it's still, even if you check out our pages, Aryeh Co. on Instagram, on other platforms, you still do get the vibe where it's kind of, we're a real company with real people, and we're trying to get our work out there, our brand out there, but it's pretty authentic. But definitely social media marketing has been not necessarily paid marketing, but we're definitely pretty active, and eventually people will share our posts, our reels, and it's not necessarily at the same rate of growth as if we were to really spend money on that, but we're there, and it's definitely part of it for sure.
Great. So what would you say is your niche? Like, who is your ideal target customer?
So we really focus, a lot of our projects are custom design jewelry. So our target customer is really anybody that wants to make something special, something high quality, special, has a luxury feel, whether it's just gold or gold and diamonds and gemstones, but something that's more meaningful. They want to make a meaningful piece of jewelry. They don't necessarily want to break the bank, but they want it to feel designer quality, high end quality. So it's really that's our target, people that don't want to go to a retail store and just choose something from a showcase, and don't necessarily want to go to Cartier or Tiffany and spend a crazy amount of money. We're right in the middle, where you definitely, when you see the jewelry, feels high quality. It's something that you came up with on your own, and the whole manufacturing process, the whole working with our design team, that's also an experience in itself. So it's really just, like I said, people that want to make something meaningful. They're bored of the typical jewelry, and they don't necessarily want to go crazy spending retail to customize something, if they can. A lot of high-end brands don't necessarily allow that.
So when you're doing customizations, is everything, do you have like a physical store? Is it all e-commerce? Like, how are you able to manage the customizations for your clients when it comes to online shopping?
So we do have a website, and there are options to put in almost all the details of the piece that you are envisioning. You can even upload a photo for inspiration, but it always comes back to our design team, reaching out, you being in contact with us one-on-one and working through all the details. We do CAD imaging, but it's all things that we need to talk to you directly about. So it's not like you're just going to necessarily, most of our customers don't just purchase something online, give us the details, because we're always reaching out. So at the end of the day, it's, you're talking to one of our representatives, our designers, and eventually closing the piece, the sale that way.
Makes sense. So when it comes to these conversations and customer service, is there any AI involved in it, or is it just live people over chat or email? What do those conversations look like?
Yeah, so right now there's not any AI. It's all, a lot of them are coming to me directly. Like I said, it's a lot of my people I've known, throughout my life, and their friends and family. So a lot of it is referral. So a lot of people actually still do contact me directly. And even if someone else is helping them with a piece, or one of our designers, it's all real people. It's very personal. It has that, VIP concierge type of feel.
Feel like AI does have a place or a use case when it comes to the industry, or where do you see AI coming into play? Because that many business owners are really trying to find the best use case for AI in their business.
Right. So definitely on the copy and, the writing for marketing material and content, stuff like that is definitely, that's an easy way to see how it could be useful. There are other ways. The customer service thing, like I said, we're pretty just hands-on, personal, lean approach. So it's not really something we've ever even thought of. In terms of designing or coming up with ideas for designs, that can be something where that can maybe be more efficient. If someone just says, I want to, whatever particular design creative thing they come up with, I could envision that happening at some point, where that technology will be able to produce something pretty quickly and creative. But at the same time, jewelry, and when you're spending large amounts of money, and they're big purchases for the most part, you're always going to want to feel like you're talking to a real human being. And there's always there's the nuances that I know there could be an argument for AI to be able to keep up with all of that, but there's still a personal feel and a trustworthiness that you need, particularly in this type of industry.
Do you think that like the role of AI would be hypothetically helping more with the concepts, like maybe taking some of the ideas and putting them together and creating kind of like, I guess, a combination of personal touch and AI? Because I agree, I think it's like AI can be useful, but the human touch has to be there when it comes to AI. Because if you just put anything into ChatGPT, you're not going to get any good response from it. You really have to prompt it correctly, for example.
Right, exactly. So for us, that personal aspect is super important, and it's fun. It's definitely fun to see how AI can be integrated into this kind of retail business. But for now, yeah, it's really, we've built it really on being able to build that trust one-on-one as people, with our client base.
Makes sense. So what would you say is the biggest challenge you're facing in the business right now?
I would say the fact that we are so personal and client, we're very focused on each job. So our growth isn't necessarily as exponential. It takes longer for us to build. We really do go one customer at a time. So definitely just getting the name out there, the brand, spreading it, awareness of our company, what we do, across the country. We've been doing a good job at it, and it's very organic, and that's great. But I would say, it's the more people that know about us, the better. So that's always a challenge. And yeah, we're always focusing on efficiency while still, producing really high quality items. And anything that we see as challenges now are really just, exciting, just brainstorming ways to continue growing the business. Thank God we have a pretty good understanding of the industry and of our clients' needs, but we can always improve. So
No, for sure.
focusing on all those things.
Yeah. I think it's like when it comes to any company, the biggest thing is brand awareness for sure. I think it's like you mentioned, like a lot of it's people like in your network, but it's you have to, if you can provide the best quality service, people have to know that you exist to essentially buy. Like the more people find out about you, that's really going to help your business.
Exactly. Personally, I like the networking, the meeting someone one-on-one, talking about what I do, what my company does, and that's always the most fulfilling way because you remember that you've had a conversation with them. It's nice to make connections, but of course, when you're trying to grow and scale, you have to put systems, processes in place to help grow. So, but we're always our foundation is that personal connection. So anyone we would hire in the future as a sales representative or a customer service, they would always, that's the main thing. We'd have to be able to tell that they have that instinct.
For sure. So in terms of networking, what does that look like for you? Do you go to like lots of networking events? Like how were you, networking, in 2023?
Yeah, a lot of it is networking events. We also have, our own customers. A lot of them, they're in the process of getting married. They have engagement parties. So we try to always go whenever we're invited, and that's always nice, of course. And it's also a good way to, when we're at the event, when we're making introductions, if I meet someone, I can always slip in, we made the ring, that type of thing. And they find that, pretty cool. So that's kind of the organic way we just get people to know what we do. But really, it's a lot of that, definitely in the summertime. It's, it's weddings every week, multiple weddings. And it's not like we're always talking about the business, but it's a good way to meet people, in our clients' circles and just grow like that.
That's awesome, man. That's a really kind of far outside the box way to go about it.
Yeah.
What would you say? So if we're going to have this conversation again in 1 year from now, where do you see things going for your business?
So definitely the growth is our focus, but we don't want to be too big. Ideally, we'd have a nice office where we can really service our clients, somewhere central in the New York, New Jersey area. But right now we make everything in the Diamond District, and sometimes it is an experience, but we do prefer to have something where you can kind of come and be private, really feel like you have privacy. So that's what we're looking to do now is, God willing, open an office at some point where it's a customer service center, repairs, come in just to view some diamonds and, jewelry, brainstorm. A lot since COVID, COVID was a big part of our business. Like those years, pretty much half the time we've been around have been communicating on Zoom or FaceTime, just calling, texting. So we really want to be able to open an office where we can have that, like I said, the personal correspondence for any of our clients' needs. They want to polish something, they can come into the office, clean, polish their jewelry and during a lunch break and go home and go back to work. So that, and just continuing to grow our brand, on social media, just gain as much awareness as possible, maybe hire a couple people for the team and see where it goes.
That's exciting, and we're rooting for you. So if somebody watching this wanted to reach out, do you mind sharing your website, social media handles, or just best way to get in contact with you?
Sure. So our website is aryehandco.com, ARYEHANDCO. Our Instagram is also aryehandco, and definitely aryehandco@gmail.com. That's, you can send an inquiry there, but our website has our contact info, and so does our Instagram. We have a phone number. They can always shoot us a message on WhatsApp or call us, and we, respond right away. So definitely the Instagram is where we're most active, Aryeh & Co. Check us out, and then always shoot us a message.
Sounds great. Well, Aryeh, thank you so much for your time. As I said, we're rooting for you. Hopefully you guys have a great Q4 ahead. And thanks again.
Appreciate you. Thanks for your time. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks. All right. Bye.